right, here we go. We are about to go live on Facebook. So let's go do that as well. Let's go live on Facebook right now. We are live. I'm saying this with a question mark because I actually never know, because there's a bunch of delays from like the camera to the software. So sometimes if it looks like, that's why sometimes there's some crazy audio issues. So thank you if you ever hear any audio issues, or even now if you can't hear me that well, please let me know. But it is Tuesday of New Mexico Bowl. New Mexico Bowl. I'm glad I don't have to say that 5 times fast, but New Mexico Bowl week is this week, and it's also Christmas, I guess, if you're into that kind of thing. But there's a football game on Christmas Eve in Dallas, and it's the New Mexico Bowl. I know, very confusing. Today, a very nice Boise fan, a friend of mine on Facebook, said that he was actually considering going to a bowl game to support a Mountain West team, and that he was looking at the New Mexico Bowl. And he's like, actually, the flights to Albuquerque look pretty reasonable. And I was like, whoa, slow down. The game is actually in Texas, so, don't go to Albuquerque, New Mexico, because you're going to be shocked when you get there on Christmas Eve and you're stuck in New Mexico on Christmas Eve. Even though Albuquerque wouldn't be that bad of a place. There's a bunch of crazy things to do in Albuquerque. Well, tonight, as you can tell, even though we're talking about the Hawaii Bowl, I am wearing my LAFC jersey because tonight is a very important night. And at Hawaii Sports Fans, the reason that I founded this company was to inspire and to show, demonstrate just my own passion for being a fan, and when I support all of my teams that I love, Hawaii football being my number one team, being probably my first team, I am really excited, obviously, because I devote my football season to that. But the rest of the year, I also have other teams I support, and LAFC is one of my favorite teams, one of the newest Major League Soccer clubs. Came onto the scene. I actually put down a down payment before they became a club, actually had any games, and I got to go to a bunch of events and meet amazing people. And I'm a part of a supporter group called the District 9 Ultras, and we travel and with the 3252, which is the fan supporter section in the north end of our stadium. And that's where I see, LAFC is really inspired even more in terms of me being a fan in all the places that I've been. I've been to the most expensive, sporting events in the world, and still, the fan experience that you get at an MLS game, especially our game, the best stadium, Bank of California Stadium, LAFC's home, is amazing. It's like the price for it is insane. But tonight, LAFC plays in a huge game. It's the biggest game for whoever's the best club in all of Central America, North America, and the Caribbean. And usually MLS teams are not, very good, and they don't usually make it to the final. And it's usually a Mexican team. But today we beat 3 Mexican teams, and in the first round, we beat León of Mexico. And I was there. I went to Mexico with my team and my supporter group, and it was super fun. And I can't wait till one day go to a game in Costa Rica, because I get to surf and watch my team play. I'm going to be like, oh my gosh, it's going to be so amazing. But anyways, back to football. But that game is about to start, so it is starting in like a few minutes. But I'm super excited about that, just like I am about Hawaii football and being a fan. And even though I will be a fan, I also won't be a fan at the same time. And I'll explain that, because when you're a media member, so I'm going to have media credentials as well, and that will help to provide some, good video, hopefully a lot better video than if I was just a fan. But obviously this year, for all the games, all the bowl games, every game, everything has changed, right? So bowl week doesn't have the flair that it used to for some players, because even if you're going to a minor bowl before, at least you had this really cool like water park experience, or at least that's what they did in Hawaii. I'm sure they don't do that in like bowl games in like Idaho. But there's pageantry, and there's free gifts, which you can never get gifts, right, when you're an NCAA athlete. And it's like the time of the year when you're playing a bowl, they can actually spend money on you, and it's like several $100s. So there's actual number, like to the dollar, of how much money that can be spent on each player. It's pretty insane. But the team is there. They practice. You saw some photos on the Hawaii football. I saw some on Twitter. I'm not back home right now. I'm in California, so I'll be going over to Dallas tomorrow, and I'll be doing my show from there tomorrow. And I don't even know what kind of surprises will I have on tap, because when I get to Texas, I'm sure there'll be a lot to talk about, and just all this new stimuli of being in a place like that. And I'm pretty excited about it because I love to travel, and this year has been a year that I have not been able to travel very much, obviously, and it's good. I need a chance to gather and um, start to organize things, because here at Hawaii Sports Fans we have so much excitement on the horizon. Hopefully a tour coming up soon. I'm going to try and do the Super Bowl tour again. Be there for our 6th Super Bowl tour, which I can't believe. I've been to 5 Super Bowls. I've taken groups to 5 Super Bowls already, and I only hope that I go to one. My only regret was wearing a Seahawks jersey to the first one I went to. Bad choice, way. Maybe I jinxed them. Maybe I jinxed Russell Wilson, and Malcolm Brown just caught the ball right there. That was Super Bowl 49. I'm referencing, obviously, on the goal line, the Seahawks and the Patriots. But the game is so fun. It costs a lot of money. I want to be straight up with you. It's very expensive. It is probably the most. I would say it is the most expensive sporting event in the world. I mean, the get-in is it's a lot of money. So I'm not. What I'm saying, this is something that for the ultimate sports fan and the people that are like me, that just think about and breathe sports all the time and are always thinking about it. I'm always thinking about things that that I would do if I owned a stadium, if I had all this money and I bought a team. Just being a fan and being in places like that, it gets you thinking about how exciting it could be. In LAFC, this is our coach. This is our bobblehead. I got this last year. Bob the Bradley bobblehead. I love this bobblehead. And I broke it. It's sad, so I had to glue it back together. Very sad, actually. Very bad way to wake up in the morning. And you see one of your favorite bobbleheads broken at the knees. I thought it was a bad sign for the coach, like he was going to get the axe or something. But he survived, even though... so this is also weird, too, because LAFC, the regular season is over. So this is like another tournament that teams from all these other countries play in. And usually, like, LAFC is expected to, like, lose in the first round because we play a Mexican team. They're like, you're not going to beat them. And we beat them. And then we beat the second Mexican team. And then we beat the third one. And then tonight, if we beat this other team, there may or may not be a small party going on in LA in various houses. Of course, not in one giant house, but it'll be a big day. Another celebration of champions for LA. And if people don't know, there's a lot of soccer watching people in LA. Obviously, if you were born in a Hispanic country or a Spanish-speaking country, or you were your parents brought you up with the game. Not everybody, obviously. My parents, weren't into the game. I played ASO like a lot of kids that grew up in Hawaii, but I never thought I'd be talking about soccer. But that's just the MLS. That league is just really taking the lead in terms of how you interact with fans, how to make the game exciting and entertaining, and that's what I love about LAFC so much. I love everything about LAFC. Everything. My teams are like my kids. I always say that, right? This LAFC is like my youngest kid, so I probably, who knows, maybe I'll have another kid after this. Maybe another team will pop up. Maybe I'll bring a team to Hawaii. That would be cool. I think about that all the time. So, but Hawaii football, back to Hawaii football, we'll be playing, obviously, in the afternoon on Christmas Eve. They're practicing tomorrow as well. I know that I was watching the BYU, I don't know what the score of that game was, but wow, UCF was just getting mopped by BYU. Like, BYU had over 400 yards of offense in the first half. Wow, I don't know if they get to 1,000 yards, that would be crazy. But I don't know if it's bocce for taking players from Hawaii to Central Florida. I don't know, but hey, black and gold, that's like Florida, that's their colors too, UCF. So I'm supporting through colors, but I wish Dylan Gabriel the best. I hope he at least comes out without injury. That's the main thing, obviously, but not a good one. So if anybody knows the score there of that game, it doesn't seem like UCF was in any shape or form coming back, but maybe they did. I stopped watching to get this out of the way. But I also wanted to point out the vlogs that I have that I did in Wyoming and Fresno State. You should go back and watch them. Maybe you can relive some of the games at UH. I wish I had the chance to do more vlogs. Obviously, I was not able to go to any of the games at the stadium or be there, or the other games ended up not having fans. So this is a great chance for me as a fan to be there, but I also will be a credentialed media member as well. So I'll be in the press box too. So that would be kind of cool. Maybe I'll do some coverage do some dual things from both sides. But I think this game is going to be could potentially be really, really good for Coach Graham and this team in the direction just with where the program's going. I know yesterday, if you caught the podcast, go check it out. Apple, Spotify, iHeart. I said all of those podcasts is places if you listen to the podcast. Coach Graham, this game and the situation going on with Mountain and West right now, and Boise talking about leaving, Coach Harsin leaving, the Boise coach going to Auburn. So, it looks like Boise State president was the one pushing all this, so I don't think that's going to stop the momentum from Boise wanting to leave. But maybe the new coach comes in and says, no, I want to stay in the Mountain West. I don't think they'd hire somebody that would say that, though. I think they are really set on leaving. But today, that's a development in that story. Coach Harsin going to Auburn. Should be an interesting fit. I don't know where Coach Harsin is from. Is he from the South? It's a hard, we'll see how he does in the SEC going from the Mountain West, but obviously that's a huge thing to do. But a lot of these bigger SEC schools now, they want to have those offenses. They see these gimmicky, right? 20 years ago, like, oh my gosh, these gimmicky offenses that June Jones runs and Mouse Davis, and these are just like never gonna these are not gonna be sustainable type offenses. But now everybody wants to put up big numbers, right? Everybody wants to throw for a lot of yards. So, now we're seeing that happen as more coaches are ending up at these big SEC schools and putting numbers on the board, right? When LSU won the national championship, it was like crazy, all of Joe Burrow's numbers. So that's not surprising at all. I'm looking. If nobody has any questions, I guess we're just getting excited. Obviously, tomorrow, like I said, I'll be flying into Dallas, bringing the show from there. When we talk about I wanted to bring up something about the payout too. So the payout, I think I talked about yesterday, right? The payout, it might be $1 million. Hopefully it's still about that. I didn't see anything different about that, but the payout money is going to the conference. So I saw some people saying Boise shouldn't get their payout money if they leave, and that's true, right? That's another reason why Boise and San Diego State are not going to play. They're opting out because, hey, I don't want to worry about having to play for other people, which is what's happening. They might end up losing money, which just happens in bowl games all the time. They try not to do that because the conference apparently pays off all of your they give you enough money first to pay off all your expenses, then they divvy out the rest. So you shouldn't lose money. Nobody should be losing money anyways. But I guess knowing the humbug that it goes through, for me personally, getting back to Hawaii, I don't think I'd have to, if I wanted to go from Dallas back to Honolulu, right, to go to Christmas, I would have to have a test in Dallas basically, because that's the last city that I was there. And that's going to make a lot of things difficult too for people traveling from Hawaii. A lot of people aren't going to want to go, even though we travel really well. And Christmas Eve is just hard, but especially when you have to worry about a test to get back. My friend, she just landed. I don't know if she's watching this. She's back home in Hawaii. She flew from Boston for the holidays, and she took a test in San Fran Airport, and it was $261, she said, which I think is... Wow. I understand, and I'm glad. I'm glad we're being extra safe with people coming into Hawaii. But that's hard. It makes it hard for me as someone who's trying to get people to travel and take them around. Not that everybody was excited about being in an airplane right now. To me, I believe it's very safe. I see the science there in terms of what the filtration and the data says about people being sick on airplanes. So especially probably the airports that are a little bit slightly more risky. But that makes everything really difficult, But looking forward into the future, like I said, Hawaii sports fans, I'm going to do more content sharing via live streams, via podcasts. Hopefully have a tour out soon, another one. But I put that on the bottom line this time. If you want to go to the Super Bowl, email me. Maybe we'll figure something out, because I know the Super Bowl they're already selling some ticket packages. Some of the brokers I usually use, I don't believe are right now selling, but I can check in with them. Everything's so fluid, right? And that's a really expensive ticket, so that's not one of those tickets for a Super Bowl that I want to keep money floating around for. But that's what it takes to go to the Super Bowl, and that's, nobody else, no other business. I know in Hawaii, I don't know of anybody else doing these kind of crazy Super Bowl tours that I do, and that's because they're risky AF. And I definitely been on the hard part of the risk sometimes. So that's the growth of wanting to do things, and to me, it's always about my fan experience, always about being a fan, always first about what am I going to get out of this, and how will I remember this forever. And every single time that I've done a trip, wherever I went, no matter how much money I've spent, I've never once regretted it. Never once. Ever, ever, ever. And, when you tell people that your ticket for the Super Bowl costs $7,200. You know, some of them will be like, "Excuse me, like, do you buy a car or something?" But that's just the reality of it. I don't know. And insane, irrational people like myself, I guess, who really love sports, you know, we support the game and we prop it up, and a lot of that, it has to do with the experience. It has to do with the way it makes us feel. It has to do with how, you know, as human beings, we interact with each other in the stands, on the field, and sports gives us that forum, right? It gives us that that place for discourse as fans to be able to, you know, discuss things and share opinions that are not, and maybe political. And I don't really mind the political parts of sports. I think that's what another part that makes sports great is that it gives us that forum for it gives us, you know, a Colin Kaepernick to be able to use his platform, and all of them, for Tim Tebow to use his platform as well. You know, they're, you know, and not to put them on ideological, that's because I'm not trying to square them off against each other at all. I'm just saying it's people who understand their platforms as athletes, and as fans, you know, we take that and we use what our athletes say, sometimes too much, as to, you know, we think about what they say, and we, you know, Charles Barkley saying, "I'm not a role model," long back when I was a kid, and I remember that very firmly, because I was like, I don't think for the rest of my life I ever want to listen to whatever Charles Barkley says, even though he's pretty funny, and I do enjoy seeing him on TNT, obviously, calling the games. But the college game, though, back to our game as well, is a pure game for the most part, and it's turned into a ugly, you know, game of money. And this year, more than ever, we've seen that, and we saw it. You know, we talk about in our discussion with being a mid-major, being a Group of 5 school versus being in the Power 5 and wanting to get out of that. And that's why it's important to, you know, keep watching what's happening in this offseason. Boise losing their coach, what's going to happen next? Whoever they take, it's going to be important to see who they pick next, whether they're going to be on the side of trying to get away from the Mountain West, because it's clear now the cards are on the table, and it happens a lot. Like, I'm someone that works in the conference office, still does. And I know that you can be in a room with ADs who talk to each other, and the one AD is talking to somebody else. It happens all the time. And I wouldn't be surprised that nobody knew that about Boise and what they were trying to do and actively doing, because they probably didn't publicize it. It's like no one tells the whole world who they're talking to on the side. But anyways, you know, for tonight, or for the game this week, we'll have a little bit of a pregame as well, halftime, and post-game. Sure, let's just do a bunch of just content creation and live goings. So join us Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and on podcast sites. But Hawaii football, we'll see what happens. Go LAFC. Vamos LAFC. Talk to you guys later. See you tomorrow. Aloha.